Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Marie, and I am a mystic. In this video, I'm going to talk about recognizing the red flags of child abuse. If you are new to my channel, I talk about generational trauma and how it affects our children in this life and in the afterlife. If this is something you're interested in, hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Children are especially vulnerable to the impact of trauma. The traumatic experiences that they go through can be incredibly distressing and overwhelming. Often, children observe and mimic the coping mechanisms of their parents or grandparents who may have faced similar trauma. These coping strategies can be passed down from one generation to the next. To better explain generational trauma and to understand the behavior of those who have untreated trauma, I will be using child abuse cases. Now, I want you to understand that in no way is my review a hate campaign against the families that I use. All statements I make during my commentary are my own views. All opinions about the afterlife are my own, being made under the First Amendment and for education and entertainment purposes only. In this video, I will be using the Keimani Latigue case. Keimani Latigue was born on March the 28th, 2011 in Toledo, Ohio, to Tierra Caston and Darnell Ogletree, both of Puerto Rican heritage. Keimani was not raised by her parents because after birth, her mom left her in the hospital and Children's Services stepped in and eventually placed her with her godmother. Throughout her early life, her mom, dad, and grandmother frequently spent time in jail. They also displayed signs of mental illness. When Kimani was 7, she moved in with her grandmother, Dorothy Latigue. And Dorothy's neighbors complained and claimed that the house was always overcrowded with unfamiliar people and offenders, and they were constantly coming and going. And it was also reported that there had been a foster child who had been beaten and whose body was dumped in a deep hole. Teachers and classmates noticed bruises on Kimani's body, and there were whispers that her grandmother was primarily interested in her for her government benefits check. Kimani frequently confided in her teachers, expressing fear about going home. And on Tuesday, March the 18th, her grandmother reported Kimani missing. The red flags of child abuse. It can be difficult to spot red flags, but trusting our instincts is crucial. Some common signs to look out for include unexplained injuries, sudden changes in behavior, and extreme fear of certain people. Number one, unexplained injuries. Injuries that don't have a clear or logical explanation, or where the explanation doesn't match the severity or nature of the injury, are a major red flag. These can include bruises, welts, cuts, burns, or abrasions. For instance, if a child has cigarette burns, claiming that the child fell off the couch would be an unreasonable explanation. The explanation should always align with the seriousness of the injury. Children who are trying to protect themselves from trauma may show bruising on areas like their forearms, upper arms, legs, hands, and feet. Kimani's teachers and classmates noticed bruises on her body. When family services inquired about these marks, her grandmother claimed that they were the result of disciplining Kimani. Due to Kimani's complex behavioral health challenges and multi system needs, family services provided her grandmother with training on how to discipline Kimani and left Kimani in her home. Number two, sudden changes in behavior. Stressful life situations, family challenges, and lack of supervision can lead to behavioral changes. Abuse, in particular, may cause issues like difficulty sleeping, anxiety, depression, hyperactivity, and trouble in school, among other symptoms. Keimani lived in a stressful environment with family struggles. Her grandmother, overwhelmed with her own issues, often put Keimani's aside. She even suggested Keimani should move in with her mother due to behavioral concerns. Number three, extreme fear of certain people. Children who have experienced trauma involving a specific individual may develop an extreme fear of that person, especially if that person has made them feel unsafe or uncomfortable. Pedos, or those who prey on children, often possess qualities that make them seem like ideal caregivers. They are charming, friendly, and great with kids. And they may place themselves in an environment where they can interact with children, often targeting vulnerable children, such as those with single parent homes or children who lack strong role models. Signs of abuse might include a fear of strangers, fear of dark, fear of going home, changes in eating habits, thumb sucking, bedwetting, fighting, or emotional numbing. Now, emotional numbing is a coping mechanism that is often passed down through generations. It involves mentally and emotionally shutting off feelings as a way to handle stress and trauma. This response is a natural defense mechanism designed to help us survive difficult situations that overwhelm our ability to cope. Research shows that when trauma, whether physical or emotional, goes untreated, the body's natural reaction is to trigger the fight, flight, or freeze response. The freeze response is emotional numbing. In this state, we are unable to feel, we're unable to cry, or respond to the distress of others. Although we may not recognize it, those around us often do, and they may react with negative comments. Now, the neighbors believed that Kimani must have witnessed the foster child getting beaten to death, and that is why she often expressed fear about going home. Recognizing these three examples of red flags early on can make all the difference in protecting a child. On March the 24th, 2025, Kimani's body was found on the second floor of an abandoned burned house on Miami Street in Toledo, Ohio. Her father, 33-year-old Darnell Ogletree, was charged with murder in her death. He was the last one to see her alive. An autopsy report determined that she died of multiple incised wounds of the neck. Reports say that her hands had also been amputated. Officials have not yet detailed a motive in the case. Kimani was a seventh grader at Spring Elementary School and was just days away from her 14th birthday at the time of her death. A spokesperson for Toledo Public Schools said she was set to be given a kindness award later that week and had recently been recognized at the school's honor roll assembly. 13-year-old Kimani has passed on into the afterlife. In her brief life, she endured immense physical and emotional pain. The weight of fear and guilt she carried has followed her into the afterlife. The traumatic experiences she faced were deeply distressing and overwhelming. In response, Kimani observed and mirrored the coping mechanisms of her parents and grandmother who had suffered similar trauma. Had she continued her life, these coping strategies would have been passed down to the next generation. However, Kimani changed the course of her journey, demonstrating remarkable strength by refusing to let her loveless environment define her. This resilience is reflected in something as simple as the kindness award she was to receive at school. In future lives, she will walk a new path, one that holds the promise of a future less shaped by trauma. Those mediums and mystics assigned to help her review her past will highlight the pitfalls she couldn't avoid in her previous life, guiding her to make different choices. In her next incarnation, she will choose parents who will help her develop a healthy mind and body, empowering her to better control her reactions. Through self love, self kindness, and forgiving herself, she will heal the wounds of her past and ascend to higher realms where she can begin anew. Those responsible for Keimani's death will face justice, serving time in prison for the crime they've committed. Prison is where they belong, as it is only through healing their own deep trauma that they may stop repeating their harmful patterns. Until that happens, their actions will continue to cause harm. In closing, I believe that self compassion is one of the most powerful ways to heal from trauma. We must learn to treat ourselves with love, not self blame. Instead of drowning in shame for our mistakes, we should forgive ourselves and move forward. Studies have shown that self love can significantly reduce the negative effects of trauma. By loving ourselves first, we can take the crucial first step in learning to love and care for our children. Prayers to the family. And remember to break the silence. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. If you like this content, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe.